All right, so I'll get right into it. So I know it was a couple of weeks ago, but I wanted to talk about the Derek Harmon situation. First off, I think what happened was total BS in terms of him going to Oregon and USC not going all in and matching Oregon financially. I agree with what Matt said when Matt talked about it, but disagree with you, Tim. Tim, you alluded to Harmon as a mid-nose tackle, and he wasn't worth overpaying with a position of need. My question for you is, if Harmon is mid, what is Kobe Pepe then? Because it looks like he's going to be the starter this season since USC since USC hasn't landed a nose tackle in the transfer portal.
Right. So is Kobe Pepe getting reported 7 digits right now, or 6 digits in the upper 6 digits? I don't think so. I also am looking at it's there's no doubt about it. There's you think I'm going to sit here and say that, hey, look, don't worry, we're good. I mean, look at what the title of this show is. I mean, there is a huge issue that happened. I think that they're saying, hey, we're not in a position. I think USC's NIL is a lot better, a lot stronger, a lot healthier. I just don't think that's in a position to go at. Look at what's going on. I mean, Oregon has the money to do this every single year. Ohio State's making a big push. They got a bunch of guys coming back, and they went into the portal. So they paid a lot of people on the team to stay, and they paid a lot of money in the portal to get this team. They're shooting their wad here, man. They're going for it. They want a national championship. That's why Oregon and Ohio State are favored to win the conference because of their roster. But a lot of that roster at Ohio State will be gone. They spent a lot of money. I wonder, and I'm just speculating, that Ohio State always does very well in the high school ranks. And they will continue to do so. Is how much money do they have? Are they a situation like Oregon where they're at infinite money? That very well could be, but we're going to find out.
Well, yeah,
gotcha. I understand. I do understand what you're saying in terms of the opposing schools. But what I was trying to get at was Tim, it's pretty harsh to call Harmon a mid-nose tackle when he has more career tackle, or he has almost as many career tackles than Kobe Pepe does in career snaps.
By mid, I'm not saying that he's subpar, right? I'm saying he's all right. He's good. Where do you think Harmon's going to go in the draft next year?
Top 4 round, maybe, if he does have the good of the season that the transfer portal rankings are are ranking him as.
I would caution you, Dave, at looking especially those transfer rankings. Things are a mess. But the top guys, we know the top guys are transferred. We've seen them on the field. But I would be shocked if he was like a day, if he was a top 3 round pick, right? And so my question to you is, to me, he would have been an instant improvement for us without a doubt. Okay. But what are you trying to get me to apologize for it? No, because I think that this coaching staff knows how much money they have to spend, and they're not looking just at nose tackle. You have to look at this big picture, Dave. You can't just blow your money. They are working with a finite amount of money. As much as it's better now, they can't just start throwing money all over the place. They're looking to land a really good high school class, which we've all wanted them to do. Where do you think a lot of this money is going to be going? Is to that high school class. So, Dave, they're going to be in trouble in the middle, right? Look no further than when we go into Ann Arbor and what they're going to go for, because I look at the title of this thing or on the thumbnail I put. The interior defensive line is going to be the Achilles heel of this team. The question is going to be, have they upgraded coaching and on scheme enough, right? And depth, and can our linebackers stay healthy? There's so many questions to this defense. That yes, it would have been great to have Rakes and have a Harmon backing him up. Absolutely. Okay. But clearly that wasn't feasible because, like we talked about on the show ad nauseum, defensive tackle was a hot commodity this year and probably always will be in the portal. And the fact that you have the finite amount of guys that are about 6'2" to 6'4", 310 to 330 pounds that move athletically, they're going to ask for a lot of money, regardless if they're actually worth that money, right? Supply and demand. I mean, a lot of big time teams, like big money teams, Texas, LSU, USC, Oregon, they wanted to get deeper at nose tackle. It was going to be expensive. And unfortunately, USC lost out. So before anyone comes back in a couple of weeks and say,
right.
before anyone comes back in a couple of weeks and says that I'm totally fine with our situation, guys, read the thumbnail for God's sake.
Yeah. One of the things I would.
All right, Tim. But
one of the things I'd reemphasize here is that while we can debate whether it was uniquely valuable to get Derek Harmon, and like you don't want to overpay for someone who's not going to give you a large number of splash plays, or at least if you're not convinced he's going to create a Bear Alexander level of impact, then the idea of not overpaying or not going all out to land him, I get that. But like something definitely went wrong here. And I think, with Isaiah Rakes leaving, again, usually when a guy leaves in the portal, I'm not saying like that applies to this situation, but usually when a guy leaves in the portal, such as Rakes, it usually means that someone else is coming in to fill that spot, and that hasn't happened. And so something went awry. And my best explanation for this is that Isaiah Rakes just played USC, and I'm not even blaming Lincoln Riley or the people involved in Rakes's recruitment for this. I'm just saying Rakes exploited this loophole where you can't play at an SEC school for the next season unless you transfer to another program in the winter portal, and then you're allowed to transfer to that SEC team in the spring. Like you can't transfer directly to another SEC school and and be eligible to play. Rakes just went A&M, USC winter, Auburn spring. He exploited the loophole in the rule. And so, one of the things that we need to see happen, it's not talking about anything that Lincoln Riley can do, but administratively, like we need to close that loophole. We need to get rid of that loophole. If you transfer in either the winter or spring windows, that's your school for the next year. That's your school for the next cycle. None of this transfer to USC in winter so that you're then eligible to play at Auburn when you transfer in the spring. Like that, I mean, how that loophole even existed is a bunch of BS, but Isaiah Rakes exploited it. And because Rakes left, that itself is to me a very compelling reason to overpay for Derek Harmon. But as the people are saying in the chat, and I think it's a fair point, if they really did feel they were desperate, actually Jeff Rodriguez made the point. If USC really did feel it was desperate, it probably would have, backed up the Brinks truck, but it didn't. So maybe that tells us that, Coach Henne, woof, can do enough dog work with the guys he has to bring this thing home. We'd love to see it happen. And I think that there is a sense at USC that, hey, give Coach Henne, give this defensive staff a full recruiting cycle. They're going to win a lot of these recruiting and portal battles in the next cycles that slip through their fingers this time. That might be also part of the thought process at USC.
Yeah, I mean, there's no Jay Toya, but it doesn't mean that Danton Lynn needs a Jay Toya in order to have a successful defense. And it's not like the last couple of years we've had 320-pound nose tackles as well. Yes, I get it. That's why there are issues. That's why guys can double and triple even sometimes Bear Alexander and chip on him. But the problem is going to be is USC has to look big term. Does anyone here in this chat, or Matt, yourself, does anyone think that we actually know the budget that USC has, the players they have on the line? And there are smart people in the room. It's message board mania when people start talking that they know more than the coaching staff, And I think that you need to realize that this team wants to win. These coaches want to win. USC is paying a lot of money. Look at the news, about the buyout for Lincoln Riley and how much this is costing them. USC is not nickel and diming like they've done in the past. USC is going for it. The question is, how much money do they have to do that? And as we're here, this would be a great time, you guys, as we're sitting here talking about, NIL and Oregon and Ohio State and Texas A&M, et cetera, on Texas and on down the line. When was the last time you guys gave money to the House of Victory? Because you guys can get in there for as cheap as $50. If you guys are big Trojan fans and you want to be critical of the players we're getting, maybe we should drop some money as well before we start doing that. Anything else for you, Dave?
The thing is, Tim, I would, but see, the thing is, Tim, I agree with you in terms of that sense. But the thing is, I'm afraid the ROI isn't worth it for football, but it is for women's basketball at USC.
Well, I'll tell you what, the play on the court / field was a hell of a lot better on the hardwood than it was at USC last year. Look, what do we argue? Do you really think that they're paying these people like the money that Rakes was asking for, or do you think that any of them outside of maybe Juju, maybe is getting money anywhere clear that we need to just, everyone needs to slow a little bit down. You want to say I don't know what I'm talking about? I don't. You know why? Because I don't know the money SC has. All I do know is that USC is better. They are spending money. And if they could have got a nose tackle that was worthwhile, that they could make the money on, they would have gotten it. Because there's a clear need. If we could see it, the staff saw it last year. They probably saw it when they're coming in. So I don't know why we're arguing. All right. Hey, listen, thanks a lot, Dave. Appreciate it. Call us back next week.